have a question for you guys. Do you have the gardening itch and you have already started germinating some seeds to only realize that you've planted them way too early and now you have a bunch of plants that are ready to flower and you have no idea what to do with them because it's still winter time and you can't plant them outside? What's going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener where I just did this. I use gardening as a form of horticultural therapy, learning life management skills with ADHD, also sobriety, and anything you can learn possibly for better life skills using gardening as a tool. And this is exactly the problem that we're going to be tackling today is time management when it comes to learning when to plant, when's the right time to be starting your seeds, and even putting them outside. So if you have ADHD, if you have time management issues, you're a busy person and you want a little tips and tricks and hacks to kind of figure out when is the right time to plant your seeds so you can actually be on time this year. So stick around in this video, grab yourself a pen and paper to write it all down because we're gonna learn how to stay on time when it comes to our seeds. There's a few videos on ADHD management and treatment from Dr. Tracy Marks. I will drop them in the links down below. Very, very, very helpful when it comes to time management, and I incorporated a lot of those time management things that she's mentioned into our gardening plants. So this is the first thing that we're going to learn is one, what has our experience taught us about plants in the past? Have you grown any plants in particular that have been the wrong timing? I'm going to use myself as an example. The brassicas. Here I grow them, and also every year I grow them too late in the season. So whenever I'm about to get, some cauliflower and broccoli, the plant wants to bolt or it wants to flower. That's telling me that I planted those seeds or planted those plants way too late in the season, at least by a month and a half. So that means this year I need to start them a lot earlier, which brings me to the list of how to make that happen. So first tip and trick is figuring out what plants that you want to plant that are good in this timing and this environment. Now I've gone over a video on, cold hardy crops that I'm growing. You may want to check that out up here and down in the description below. But let's just say now that you have them, broccoli, cauliflower, for example, those are going to take the longest time. So go over your list. I'm assuming and hoping that you have a list of all your plants that you're going to be growing this year. This is the only way that you're going to be able to keep track of the stuff that you've grown. Trust me, for someone who literally forgets absolutely everything, you got to write it down. That's the only way that you're going to remember, because not everyone has the best of memories, and you don't want to keep lying to yourself, which is only going to make you feel bad about yourself in the long run, and you don't want that to happen. So you got to write it down. So look at all your list of all the cold hardy crops that you're going to be growing for this season and figure out which ones have the longest planting time. What if you're a new gardener and you don't have that past experience to go by realizing that, hey, I planted them way too early or way too late? It's okay. Count this as a plant hack or tip. And definitely for ADHD people, it's gonna be super helpful, not only for just beginners. It's for us too, a planting schedule, and you can find that on the internet, on the website. All you gotta do is Google planting times for your garden zone. Now you got to know what your garden zone is. Once you figure that out, based on where you live, the state, you're going to look up your garden zone. That is going to give you a number. That is going to tell you, based on where you live, the zone that you're in. Now, based on that zone, you're going to look up the planting schedule. So on the almanac.com, you're going to put in your garden zone or your zip code, and it's going to give you a list of all the plants and the right appropriate times to plant it for that area, which is an awesome thing if you have ADHD and you don't remember. You're going to be able to remember, especially if you have an outline already for you. Broccoli says to start March 11 to 26. Now, I'm very early with my broccoli, but it's okay because I know I can get 2 plantings out of broccoli. So it's all good. I still have that window. Eggplants, March 11 to 26. So we already know that my ass is way too early, but it's all good. I still have time to start them again. Better early than late. Another helpful tip and hint and trick is to write it down. I'm going to be emphasizing a lot of stuff repetitively throughout this video because we all know when it comes to learning something new, it's through repetition. And that also means repeating it in your head, which means listening to it over and over again. So I'm not doing this just to be annoying. I'm doing this so I can drill it in your head, Jack. Are you going to remember? I mean, it's good enough that you're going to have a video about it, but I got to repeat it to myself over and over again so you can remember. Write it down. You're going to take your planting schedule along with a notebook that you're going to keep track of all your plants that you're growing and all the mistakes that you're growing, Jack. Because I'm talking to you, Jack, through the video. You have to remember, this is the only way that you're going to remember. So now I have a notebook specifically for that. If you want to get even more organized like I'm trying to do, I've actually typed out all of my plants that I'm going to be growing in this, specific season. I'm going cold hardy because we're still in winter, so I'm going to have my list of all the plants that I'm growing. I did a video on that, so remember to go check out the cold hardy plants. So you got your list, you got your planting time, and you have your notebook. That is going to be your brain. That is going to be your brain for the entire time. The next thing is, what plants are going to take the longest? What plants are going to take the shortest amount of time in that cold hardy bunch for right now in late February? Cauliflower is definitely going to take way longer than lettuce. So that means you're going to be planting the longest plants that they're going to take forever to grow. Those are going to be first. So the first thing I did was to plant the brassicas. I got broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Those were planted first because those at least are going to take 90 days to grow, just to at least mature. Whereas if you got a lettuce, it's only going to take maybe about 30 to 50 days, depending on the variety. So you don't need to plant lettuce way too early because it grows super fast. Eggplants, like I just learned, take shorter amount of time just to even get to this size. This planting schedule is going to help you along trying to figure out what plants are going to take the longest because the planting schedule is going to tell you. This is why you need to keep this schedule in a notebook or on a paper that you've already printed out with all your list of plants that you're going to be growing because it's going to help you keep track. What plants do you want to grow the most? What is your highest priority plants that you're really trying to get a full crop of? For example, if you're into storage, you're into fermentation, you're into canning, you're into freezing, dehydrating, these are the things that you want to be thinking of because that's going to be your food for the whole entire year. And this is why I'm growing 3 trays worth of full-blown brassicas. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with that. So I want to know that that is my priority above all the other, cold hardy crops. Not saying that those are not important, but my high priority ones that I really have to extra focus on, extra pay attention on, are those brassicas. So those are going to be the ones that I'm going to be really, really, really paying attention to because they take the longest amount of time. Now that you've gotten that, you've got your list, you've got your planting time, you've been writing everything down, you've been keeping track. Now it's time to actually start. But you know what? Here we go, ADHD procrastination, because sometimes it's overwhelming. It really is, especially if you have a lot of plants, to sow. You have a lot of seeds to sow, a lot of trays like I do, because I have to start growing plants for my church. I want to start growing plants for my dad now because he's busy. Maybe my sister needs some plants. And also I like to give away plants. So I have a lot to sow. In order to prevent that overwhelming large task thing is breaking everything down into small bits. So, maybe one time you want to gather all your materials. Another time you may want to get your planting schedule. Another time you may want to do something else. When you're breaking it up into small little goals, mini goals, then it makes it less overwhelming. And if you are overly stimulated, like autistic, ADHD, other neurodivergent, that can be very overwhelming and overstimulating. So breaking it down can definitely help. Another hack and tip is to do the most hardest thing first. When you have the most energy, it's gonna suck. So what are we gonna do about that? Another helpful tip and hack is to create a comfortable environment so you can do that thing that sucks, basically. So if I know that sitting down and packing all of my seed trays with the soil is extremely boring, extremely time consuming, and frankly boring, why not make it a fun or relaxing, comfortable environment? If I know that I'm going to be bored doing this, why not do it in front of a TV? Set up my phone, watch a movie, watch a TV show, binge watch on Netflix, so you can just kind of make that time easier. Another thing is maybe set up some music, maybe drink something, not alcohol. Hello. Oh, by the way, 90 days sober. So obviously I would not be drinking alcohol. I'd be drinking something else. Water, juice, tea, I don't know, something. It reduces the overwhelmingness. It encourages calmness, encourages maybe excitement and willingness to do this. Now, another ADHD hack, if still that's not enough, it's okay, because sometimes I still don't want to do it, no matter how great of an environment it is. This is where the reward system comes in. ADHD people, how many of us love a reward system? We're always chasing that dopamine, so we're going to hack our brain using a reward system. So you're going to take that first thing that sucks the most, that's going to take the longest, the hardest, the most boring, the worst thing, and you're going to put a reward system to it. For example, that stinking soil that I got to fill a bunch of seed trays with. What is my reward for getting it done? You know what Jose said to me? He said, if you can hurry up and get all of these seed trays done, I'll take you to Lowe's so you can go pick out some seeds. Okay, you have no idea. He was so amazed that I got that shit done like this. It was amazing because there was a reward system after it. There was something positive to gain as a result of me hurrying up and getting that done. Now, I want to stress, avoid using food as a reward system, because if you struggle with emotional eating as one of the coping mechanisms, which is not the healthiest, okay, we do not want to reward ourselves with food, because that's just going to continue and perpetuate the emotional eating. And if something goes wrong, then you're going to associate food and then it's just a bad look. So you don't want that, all right? But maybe you want to watch your favorite TV show. Maybe you want to go buy yourself some seeds. Maybe you want to just, I don't know, dance around, listen to some music for a little while. That's the positive reward system that's going to help us truck along into making everything happen. Now, hopefully, all of this stuff was helpful. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you struggle with this? Do you struggle with prioritizing? Do you struggle with trying to figure out when is the right time to plant your seeds? I always struggle with figuring out when is the right time and the wrong time to plant the seeds. But it's okay. It's okay. We are learning. Just remember, gardening is a learning experience and growth is a learning experience. Change is difficult. If it's anything that I've learned in 90 days of sobriety, is change is very difficult and it can be very overwhelming, but it's possible. We just have to get ourselves in a great mindset, encourage ourselves, give ourselves that motivation, that self-encouragement that we're going to need. And if nobody's here to encourage you, I'm here to encourage you. I'm here and I'm rooting for you that if I can do it, you can do it too. It is hard. Yes, it is. But we can. It always starts with mindset. If you keep saying that no, you can't do it, then your brain is going to think you cannot do it. So we're going to change our wording from negative mindset to positive mindset. Maybe you don't know, but I will learn. I will learn. I do not know it now, but I will learn. I will get the hang of it. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it now, but I will do it in the future. I will learn. It's that positive mindset that we're trying to change, okay? So don't feel discouraged. If you need any help, drop me a message. Drop me a comment on Facebook. Catch me on TikTok and Facebook or in Instagram or something. We can encourage each other. Some plants you may not have a chance to grow and try again until next year. Some plants you may have a chance to grow it in the next season. So if you missed the window of opportunity for springtime, it's okay. There's always another chance to try again. Hopefully you've written it down so you will remember how you screwed up the last time, but it's okay. It's a learning experience. And remember, we can't grow without learning, and without learning, we can't learn without mistakes. So it's that mindset. Hopefully you've written it down so you can keep track of it, and now you've just gained experience points. You have to learn in a video game that you gotta gain some experience points. It's the same thing with life. It's the same thing with gardening. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some really good information out of it. If you have any questions or concerns, drop it in the comments. You can always catch me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is always about ADHD discovery and learning about sobriety and all that fun stuff. Also, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next episode, you guys, where you and me both going to be growing our happiness one plant at a time, one day at a time, hopefully using all these hacks to our advantage. I'll catch y'all later in the next episode. Peace and love.